Welcome to the Defiance and Obedience Podcast, seeking to build strong men in the home and public square. And here's your hosts, Josh, the Second Amendment absolutist, and Ian, the conspiracy guy.
Well, I like that intro.
Good, yeah. It's a little something fresh.
Yeah. I've been getting some feedback on the name change.
Yeah.
So, seems like people are curious and still interested. So
yeah, I mean, some people were like, "What's up with the name change?"
Yeah.
Like, what? You know,
it's totally changing everything we do.
Yes. No, it just turns out, everything that, all the standard things that I would use that said contrary text now need to be this Defiance and Obedience. But I went through and I think most of our things are changed other than our Twitter feed, which is not a hotbed for anything. I think that's still outdated. But
unlike Twitter, which is just a hotbed of what's the Star Wars quote, like a hive of villainy and something or other.
I can't help you there.
Yeah, as far as my level of Star Wars,
I think we should spend a few more minutes trying to come up with whatever the phrase is.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes for good
just
radio.
So we can have a few people bounce their heads off the steering wheel right now. That's really our goal.
Yeah,
it's just to get people to yell at their windshields.
Mm-hmm. We take pleasure in imagining how people might react.
Yeah. I know. On the way here, I saw this guy like tailgating a car and flashing his lights, and I was like, he must be listening to our podcast. And I realized he was just angry at the car in front of him.
Yeah. Well, the beer I just cracked is a. It says irrelevant, but it says irrelevant in two words. So it and one of the R's is backwards, so it's actually really hard to read.
Yeah, I did a double take on it because I think you and I both thought it said something about Israel.
Yeah,
and we were like, should we hate this? Should we love it? Should we expect it to give us money?
Like Israel event? Like, what is this?
The Israel event.
So it's by Irrelevant. It's called Monotony, and it says beer. Monotony beer. Barleywine with vanilla. So
I noticed it has a flying saucer flying over a city on the label.
Yeah, it does. And the city is not something normal.
Yeah.
It's got all kinds of things in that background art.
Like an RV with some poop rolling out of it. Oh, that's right. You said not normal. So
toffee, raisin, and French vanilla. I'm guessing.
Oh man, raisin.
Mm-hmm. Which,
Thanks for warning me.
I would say raisin is probably a pretty common profile of barley wine. It pours like a very dehydrated person, or maybe apple juice in color, kind of caramel color. Yeah,
smells like a brewery.
People prefer if you get really close to the mic and make smacking noises. But it's got a pleasant nose to it.
It's got some fruitiness to it.
Yep. Maybe raisin.
Maybe no, because I wouldn't hurl.
Oh, it's definitely got vanilla though. Like compared to a typical barley wine, that vanilla really shines through. Yeah, shines through.
There, I'll use my brightness term. It is bright. It's got some funk on the back end. Mm-hmm. Like this is not gonna sell it, and it's not terrible, but it's kind of a wet dog kind of a funk.
Oh, I was gonna say metallic.
Okay, yeah.
That metallic wet dog.
Yeah, I mean, I was licking a wet dog the other day just to make sure my palate's kind of well rounded,
as one does.
Yeah,
in Granite Falls.
I'm 3 miles outside of Granite Falls.
Okay.
It's an Arlington address. Dang it.
Yeah, but city and county lines are kind of drawn with a crooked stick.
Yeah, they are.
They are
the gerrymandered stick
all over the map.
Yeah.
But man, are things getting better? Ice pulled it out of Minneapolis, so everything must be good, right?
It must be golden. Yeah. Yeah, all's right in the world again. Yeah, I haven't really. I mean, nobody's gotten
it's
shot.
It's kind of hush hush now. I mean,
Yeah.
I did see somebody post like statistics don't lie, and it was saying basically how much money it costs to deport, maybe 150 individuals or whatever the number was, and put that cost divided by the number of individuals. Look at this. This is such a waste of money. Well, guess what? It costs a lot more when you have a force that is working to, counter your force.
Absolutely.
Would that be counterinsurgency or to some degree?
I'd put it in that category.
I mean, it's like, of course it's going to cost a lot when you need to expend all these resources as decoys, as, to make sure your people don't get, cornered. Cause like they were having people ram, ice vehicles and
that gets expensive.
Yeah.
Especially when that's your rental ice car.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think some of them just started taking their plates off completely. Yeah. Which, is another way to flag a vehicle. But
I should just put a tag on that says not ice.
Yeah. And my flock video on the webs keeps getting hits. I mean, people range from, I can't believe you didn't know about these idiot, to why are you even making a video? Cut them down. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave that one on my bonus account.
Yeah. And I'm like, so I'm all for cutting them down, and I'm not really. That's not the thing that I'm willing to die on. And go to jail for. If I had a strategic way to do it, But I mean, people talk about, hey, these are good. They. If your car gets stolen, you'll be saying something different, and then other
I'll
people
sacrifice that. I will. Oh, yeah. Like I'll do what I can to go find my car, or the cops can ignore it or whatever. But
then guys have mentioned, they're like, somebody said my friend's car got stolen, and they were unwilling to release any camera data to help us find it.
Yeah, it's not gonna help you out. Yeah.
Even the theory itself, has been tested and hasn't worked. Yeah. They're just not interested in using it for anybody else's advantage other than their own.
Yep. Yeah, and then there's more and more of them that are more and more cities that are canceling their contract with them, which I'm looking forward to that happening in our city.
And some of them for interesting reasons, like we don't want you to use this data for ICE to find our illegal immigrants.
Which I hate that, but I'll accept that. I don't like your reason, but
not the reasons.
Yeah. So we can side on getting rid of them for if that's your reason, I'll take it.
Yeah, strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
I did notice from watching some of
I tend not to have fellows in my bed.
You tend not to on occasion. Yeah. If the weather permits.
It's been weather permits. It's been 47 years since I've shared a bed with a fellow.
Yeah. It's always with your brother. It's like, hey, the line's here. Stop crossing it. Yeah. But no, I did think watching the footage of our interview with Dean that I was like, you're very affirmative in your listening, like you're nodding and things. I look like I'm just staring at you, like it could be positive, it could be negative.
Yeah, that's actually done because of when we used to interview people for the local still, I realized that I was doing a lot of hums and like that, and to the point to the level that it became really distracting. And so I'd go back and listen to myself and be like, shut up. And I was like, okay, how do you affirm that you're listening to somebody without sounding just like a grunting machine? And so that's when I started making more of the physical, because if you are staring at somebody that's staring them down, like you're, getting ready to do weigh-in at a fight or whatever, then, they're like, what does this guy want from me?
Right.
So, and especially like Dean knows us, But when you're going in and you meet somebody at their business, you know, and that was something too, like in that situation.
You're saying I shouldn't be at the front desk, you know? Like,
yeah, I would say that. Not my first choice for front desk, but
okay.
I'll put you at the front door if I want people to not come in. But yeah, like
it would be really funny if your chair had a squeak, and as you're nodding, it's like
squeak, squeaks. That would be hilarious. Defeats the purpose,
right? But it's like in Christian circles, you know, where there's the very affirmative, like you could do a stereotype videos about prayer, you know, and there's the over affirmative person, like, yes,
thank you, Jesus,
yes, Lord, you know, just,
totally.
And then you like feel like, oh, do I keep? Okay, I got to get more of those, so I got to keep praying in the way that I'm praying, I guess, you know.
Exactly. Got to get the praises,
right?
Well, even yesterday, we, you know, in fifth grade, we did a recitation of the Charge the Light Brigade. And about halfway through, I was like, "Hey, just so you guys know, like, I'm nodding because I want you to keep going, but don't also take that as an affirmation that all the words you're saying are correct. So if you have a feeling that you are saying a line wrong, go ahead and fix it." Because I, you know, like some of the students, it really actually helps them to just give them a nod.
Oh yeah.
Because even if they mess up a word. Like, I'm not concerned about them messing up a word. I'm concerned that they are getting the idea of the poem.
Yeah.
And if they reach, you know, 40 years old or 30 years old, having the concept and a general idea of the poem, I'm more concerned about that than them like having it word for word memorized but not getting it at all. And so I'm like nodding and then also saying like, all right, you got a B- on that one.
Sure.
But you know, like keep going. I don't want to interrupt your flow because if I said you got that one word wrong, then
just derail them.
You derail them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of historical things, in another way, we went through in one of our classes. We went through.
I mean, that is actually, I think that was right around the time of the Light Brigade.
Really?
What you're getting ready to talk about there?
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln's selected speeches and writings. So it's not all of them from his whole life, but I would say that I enjoy, like he's a very, like he reminds me of Reagan. Reading him reminds me of, some of the speeches I've heard Reagan do, obviously recorded video and stuff. Wasn't alive for that period of time, but I do enjoy his casual way of speaking, and it seems like he could. I mean, it's said like personal accounts of listening to him. He could just keep the crowd going. Yeah. He could insert jokes. He could just, and you're just like, we don't really have politicians like that. I mean, Trump is a version, an unrefined version that he can keep a crowd going, but it's more about like
watching a car crash, like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Even Barack Obama, like, I mean, I couldn't listen to him because I knew he's a raging liar and disgusting human being. But like, if you saw him like at a White House dinner or whatever, he was actually a good orator.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and compared
orator.
To,
I was like, that didn't sound right. I'm not a good orator.
I don't orate good. Compared to George Bush, have you ever heard any of the compilations of Bush?
Oh man. Yeah, I actually watched one probably within the last 5 or 6 days. Okay. Probably you watching it caused the algorithm to send it my direction because it was.
They are rough, like he like
I
we do.
am the decider.
Like we do.
Yeah.
He could not, like mid-speech, he can't remember how the phrase goes, and so he just rolls with it.
Yep.
Unlike us that might pause and debate for a while and still not get it, but he would just roll with it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, wait, it have to be your bowl. One of those moments. Tommy Boy moments. But no, he, like, going from George Bush to Obama, you're like, oh, man, this this man is refined.
Yeah, exactly.
He can just speak.
What was it Joe Biden said? He's clean and eloquent or something like that. Unlike most of the black people I know and corn pop and all that, he's clean and eloquent or something.
Have you heard about the theory that he was replaced with somebody at some point?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those, how far-reaching the implications of that would be. It seems far-fetched, but when you look at the man, you're just like, are you sure this is the same guy?
Yeah. I would definitely be of the mind that he actually physically collapsed so quickly that's what we got out of it, was just literally a shell of a man that was propped up on whatever cocktail drugs they could do to just keep him
totally
mobile and giving some sense of being able to handle the English language at the best that Joe Biden has never been fantastic at.
No, but you look, I mean,
it was definitely different.
Yeah, you look back, I mean, because he appears on Parks and Rec, the Parks and Rec show. It's actually really weird.
He was actually on it, or just
cameo, he was himself.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Huh. And it's really disturbing because I can't remember her name in the show, but is it Amy Poehler?
Yeah, Amy Poehler's character.
Yeah, her character is obsessed with Joe Biden.
Oh,
and,
interesting.
Is
that
her crush,
makes all the sense.
her political crush, and so
also in reality,
that's weird.
Yeah.
But he is so cogent. He is so I'm like, this is not the president that we had a couple years ago.
No. Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, you don't often, Barack Obama is one of the rare presidents that we hear from time to time, but generally a president just steps completely out of the light when he's done. And I think it's also done out of respect. With Joe Biden, it is interesting how we just haven't, I don't know, I haven't seen anything from him.
Probably still eating ice cream somewhere
in the basement of some place.
I heard didn't he have some form of cancer?
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
I heard something about that. But yeah, it's really hush-hush. You don't really hear much from him. Yeah. Obama likes to pipe in every time Trump does something he thinks is racist. Obama's
he would know.
That
He's
fire.
the chief race baiter, especially now that was it Jesse? That wasn't Jesse Jackson. Who was it? That just died. One of the race baiters.
Something like that. Yeah.
May his name be forgotten. Yeah.
But anyway, I was reminded. I mean, as some of us are going to be going back to the East Coast, and I think we'll visit the Lincoln Temple or Memorial, as some call it. But I mean, when you look at it was actually built in echo of some of the Greek temples, essentially. Parthenon, with the massive pillars and everything. It's like we put him on this deity pedestal in terms of presidents, when in reality he was a very pragmatic man. He was here, I'll read just this brief portion that he wrote this letter to Horace Greeley, and he really gets the most honest, I think, and the most clear. Then, reading through all his speeches, we read through selected ones, not this whole book, but you get an idea. But this, he just lays it all out. He said, I would save the Union. I would save it the shortest way under the Constitution. The sooner the national authority can be restored, the nearer the Union will be the Union as it was. If there be those who would not save the Union unless they could at the same time save slavery, I do not agree with them. If there be those who would not save the Union unless they could at the same time destroy slavery, I do not agree with them. My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and it is not either to save or destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do it. What I do about slavery and the colored race, I do because it helps the Union. What I forbear because I do not believe it would help save the Union. I shall do less whenever I shall believe what I am doing hurts the cause, and I shall do more whenever I believe doing more will help the cause. I shall try to correct the errors when shown to be errors, and I shall adopt new views so fast as they shall appear to be true views. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, very pragmatic.
He lays it out.
It's funny. I have affections for Lincoln, like I have affections for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have a strong distaste, in this, for both, because it was probably a few years after I started rethinking my thoughts on the Pledge of Allegiance that I started looking into Lincoln a little bit more. And, because he was probably one of my top favorite presidents when you hear all the childhood stories, like the stories you hear about him when you're a child.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of affection for him as a president, as like the storied historical figure that he is. And then when you look at the reality, he talks about the Constitution in there. I think that was something he held loosely in his mind, in the way that he handled it in his presidency. And
like in what way?
Was he an originator of the alien sedition, or some form of I know that came later under, was it Wilson? But didn't he do some original version of that? I'll ask the...
I don't know. I mean, he was pretty set on... Alien Sedition and Sedition Acts were earlier.
Yeah.
I think under Adams, but...
He shut down the press. Again, it's been a little while.
I mean, he was, at least in word, he was very, because people would say, well, you need to end slavery. And he's like, well, that's, by the Constitution, that's something that Congress would have to do.
Yeah.
So I do think he, last year I had my students compare him to Trump, because I do think there were similar ways in where he tried to just, like the Emancipation Declaration, Emancipation Proclamation, where he's just like, I declare, and he took it under the wartime, executive power. Like he just basically said, well, I have this power because it's wartime and it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
And you can argue whether or not he actually had that. But even the Emancipation Proclamation was only for slaves in the states in rebellion, so in the southern states that had seceded. And so it was a pragmatic matter. It's still that. It was not, oh man, Abraham Lincoln just freed the slaves. He fought to free the slaves. No, he fought to keep the Union together.
Yeah. I think that was the most damaging thing that he did. Mm-hmm. The Union was not... It was a contract that was not meant to stay together.
It's indivisible, Josh.
Yes. I roll. It was not meant to be a permanent, or not a permanent, but an undivisible thing. Like there was a contract that was there that we could break from, and he made that more and more difficult. That's something it's still talked about today. There's many states that have talked about it. Even like our state has talked about splitting in half, which is a little bit different. But
that's the only reason that some of those states even signed on to the Constitution as it was drafted, because they felt like they had the clause that would allow them to secede if things, if they were at an impasse and felt like they couldn't agree. Yeah. But the argument, like Wilson and some others make, it seems like the better thing for your fellow countrymen would be to simply let them go and let the natural repercussions of that play out.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have lasted on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to Lincoln's credit, he actually proposed several constitutional amendments that at the very beginning of the war, saying like, hey, without any more bloodshed, let's pass these, to basically free all the slaves by the year 1900, and everyone will get compensated for those slaves, because that's the piece, the economic piece, that you can't just tell someone, hey, I know you've had slaves for generations, and they actually have a huge monetary value.
Your business model is based on this.
Yeah, all of a sudden now you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that's zeroed out, and those aren't worth anything.
Yeah.
Britain, I mean, when they, with Wilberforce, they basically had a huge plan to pay out all the slave owners, because there has to be, you can't just expect people to do things out of the kindness of their heart with massive financial repercussions. And basically the Senate or the Congress was just not willing to pass those measures. And I mean, Britain, I think, held that. They were paying off that loan for like 100 years or more. So it was a huge financial cost, but they also
worthy loans that a government could.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't. Guess what? They didn't kill hundreds of thousands of their own countrymen.
It is interesting. We were talking about this recently with tariffs and all that. Like decisions that we've dealt with and not, or decisions that we have not dealt with that were poor decisions have. Whenever we decide to fix them, and we actually haven't with anything yet, Social Security and those kinds of things. We used to fund government on tariffs, and we strayed away from that. And the effect of that was that we lost our production capability, our manufacturing capability. We shipped that all off, and I can't remember if we talked about this last time or if this is another conversation I had, but like how, T-Rex arms, they promised to have American-made goods. And they had their AC-1 placard plate carrier. It was supposed to be made in America. They found out that the company that said that they were making it in the States they actually got labels on it that said "Made in Mexico." And the company had not torn them off and replaced them with Made in America ones, and they found out about it. And so they rebranded them as the AC Uno and said, hey, they were going to give a reduced cost and all that. But what they found is that the ones that were made in Mexico were actually higher quality. Yeah. Because other countries have had a lot longer generational experience making these things at this point, that you actually can get a better quality for cheaper outside of our country. And so now that we were trying, it sounds like we've backslidden on the tariffs thing right now.
Did you hear him call out the justices?
I haven't watched it all.
I don't even know if I listened to that part. I could only listen to so much of it, but at some point he pointed over at some of the justices and said, you got this wrong, but don't worry. I found another law that I can put it under.
Yeah, I am pro-tariff. Because the issue that we're dealing with now is small businesses. So like the company that my wife works for part-time, they're dealing with not being able to get certain materials because of the tariffs. And so we were talking about it recently. It's actually going to be a pain that we're going to deal with for a while. It will actually shut down our small businesses. We will have, because of our poor decisions. Here's the thing: when you make poor decisions, whether it's as an individual or as a country, you eventually will have to pay for those poor decisions.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so we will have the pain.
It'll be a painful recorrection.
Yeah. But in the long term, it will be better for our children if we endure that painful correction right now. Yeah. And so, small businesses will suffer. Small businesses will close. I'm sorry. It will affect our family. But
in the short term, the cost will be actually put on the consumer, because they're like, well, this is where we're getting our stuff. Yeah. Now we have to pay more to get it. Yep. And so here's the increased cost. Now, as the market adjusts and people revitalize domestic manufacturing, I think things will balance out a little bit
Well,
more.
it will, because it'll give jobs for our children and our grandchildren. It'll give us value in the world in what we are able to produce. We won't be going outside of our country, or we'll be going outside of our country less for computer parts, for medical supplies. Like, so much of our medical supplies come from China. I mean, I was going through stocking up my Amazon list of, different medical supplies to keep on hand, and it's just like everything's made in China, and so gauze and stop the bleed stuff and all that.
Yeah,
you can get super cheap. Like, it is amazing how cheap it is, but it's all made in China.
Yeah,
and so it would be nice to get that production here into the U.S. and also so that we have that as a capability in time of war or real medical reasons.
and also, like, I do think this is a good point made by Josh Smith of Montana Knife Company, where he showed on his screen, he went to Temu or something like that, Alibaba or something, and showed how he can get, like, they are making knives specific, like almost exact replicas in terms of looks.
Yeah.
To all their knives, like same names, same everything.
The MKC, it's the Manchurian Knife Company.
Exactly. And I do think that this is one space. If you're going to impose tariffs, you also need to help protect American manufacturing, like intellectual rights and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, like, because honestly, in places like marketplaces like Amazon, it's hard to tell sometimes. You're like, wait, I was just on, like, say Milwaukee, I was on a Milwaukee drill. Now it has everything, and it's, oh wait, Milwaukee's missing an E or something.
Totally.
Like, wow.
Yeah. There's been definitely times where we have sought out an American-made thing. We look at it, it says American-made, we get it, and it says made in China.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's...
Or you get it, and it's like way smaller than you thought.
Yeah.
The picture looked the same, like, as the other ones.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyway,
it is made in America.
This is made in America, by our friends down
Close,
at Epic.
Intimate friends.
Yes. Down in Salt Lake City, Utah. Wow. It almost... I was going to say Dr. Pepper, but
man,
not... like, maybe if you had an all-natural Dr. Pepper was the nose initially upon popping the can. But yes, Big Bad Baptist Cherry Bliss. So it's a barrel-aged... is it bourbon barrel or whiskey barrel? Whiskey barrel aged.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it does have a cherry Dr. Pepper.
With cherry. Imperial stout aged in whiskey barrels with cacao or cocoa, cherry flavor, and other flavors added.
Taking hits at my dark past of cacao and caramel.
Let us offer you something rich, something sweet from deep within our hearts. Each soft and succulent sip will entice you to come back for more.
Wow.
This is getting a little intimate.
No kidding.
Savor this voluptuous brew.
Wow.
With someone who is more than a friend.
Wow.
Josh.
That was like... I have to go now. I hear my wife calling.
Exactly.
I share a bed with my wife.
Well,
no man.
We're in a closet together.
That's right.
It's a padded room. Man, the cherry comes right off the top of there.
Does it say? Because it actually smells like the what's the really bright red cherries?
Wow, that is holy cherry, Batman. I think it's pleasant.
Oh man, that is a lot like a Dr. Pepper, like a cherry Dr. Pepper.
You got to really like cherry. I mean, it's not one of those salted caramel stouts that doesn't say it only tastes like stout. You know?
Maraschino, that kind of cherry, which I like those.
Yeah, I mean, I would drink this again. I don't know if I need a whole 16 of it.
Yeah. But yeah, that is someone worth sharing in a closet together.
It looks like the reviews are kind of low on like Untapped.
Well, ship them to us then.
Right.
We'll enjoy one every other month.
It's kind of unhelpful because people don't put a lot of comments. They just rate it.
So lazy D-raters.
Usually, they. Yeah. I mean, the thing with Untapped, like I felt like it's helpful to know what people think in general with ratings, but like it was like one of those, games where you're just trying to reach the next level. You're like, like this says level 36 badge, and you're just like, oh, I guess I need to drink more. Like I need to get to 37.
Untapped is the reason for my alcoholism.
Yeah, exactly. This says Big Bad Baptist is good, but these flavored ones are not it. This is the most synthetic cherry flavor I've ever tasted. I don't know how this is physically possible.
I would kind of, I guess, agree that it does have that candied cherry kind of a flavor, and I kind of like that. I mean, I also really prefer Rainier cherries, but I don't want a Rainier cherry beer.
I mean, it says natural flavors, so come on. It's probably derived from an actual cherry, probably. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the variations. I enjoy like trying to get creative with a beer while not getting stupid, like pickles.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'll even I like that occasional full retard kind of a thing. Because it's just like, what to appreciate. And, Fort George does everything well, even when they decide to go freaking nuts. They went freaking nuts on that one. So
you never go full retard.
That's right. They did. Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say about that.
Josh is gazing up at the wall of...
yeah. You can't see that, but maybe I'll have to post some pictures of that.
Beers in days past.
Yeah.
There are some common themes. This one is going to go on top of our other Big Bad Baptist over there, the salted maple.
Yeah, where are some of our missing Bad Baptists?
I thought we had it's the double stack. Yeah, that was like a pancake inspired one.
Oh yeah, that was.
But yeah, we started doing this wall. We actually can't remember when, but
yeah,
I think it was last spring.
But we could talk about it for 5 minutes.
But it is a visual, of the beers that, from at least the last year, and it looks like a lot on the wall, but it's like, well, half a beer at a time.
It is funny when you, I don't think I've told you this, when you said something about...
You probably have.
That is highly possible. When you said something about putting a shelf up, I was like, oh, yeah, we could put things on a shelf, I guess. Didn't even think about it being the beer thing. And so then you start putting the beers up there. I was like, okay, cool. And didn't really think much of it either way. And then we started, my office is kind of right across from the kindergarten classroom.
Office, also the closet we just referred to.
Yeah, the office, yeah.
Yes.
It is the security closet. But there's a lot of, because of where it's located.
It has a window in a room that doesn't need a window.
Exactly. It really does. Yeah, I should put like a curtain in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a neon sign with like Budweiser. But a lot of people that are checking out the school go by here, and there's a lot of like kind of spasmodic like looks.
So whose office is this?
Yeah. Who is this delinquent that you shove into this corner? And so it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna just close the door a little bit more when somebody's checking out the school. Just hey, things are good, but like they might not realize that you and I have shared each of these beers.
I mean, and in a similar tone, I mean, Jonathan has his whiskey collection on his bookshelf back there, and he's not pounding fifths throughout the day. It's on occasion, it's usually after 4:00.
Yeah. Yep.
Things like that. But Yeah. I mean, it is one of the things that, was it you? No, I was talking with another guy recently about how, it's really sad that something like alcohol can keep people from fellowship, from, like Christian brothers and sisters that, like, let's say they came to our church, visited one Sunday, they loved everything about it. Then they walked down the aisle to get communion, and they noticed that there's two options. There's wine, and then there's grape juice.
Yeah.
An adulterated wine. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're not coming back here.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus wouldn't have done that.
yeah, I mean, but it's the reality. Like we just recently read To Kill a Mockingbird, and
Did you say Tequila Mockingbird?
yes,
Okay.
Tequila.
Yeah.
And in there, Miss Maudie, she's always out in the yard, maintaining her garden and stuff. She loves her flowers and stuff. And they call them the foot washing Baptists come by and, yell things at her because they think she's vain for being outside in her yard,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so throughout history, we've always had this dualism problem where is it spiritual? Is it physical?
Yeah.
Does God care about this or that? Well, he cares about it all, folks.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
made it all.
Yeah.
It all matters.
Yep.
And
The smallest detail, he's made it for us to care about too.
yeah. And, the amount of strife that has been caused over the years, I'm sure, through just that one issue, alcohol, let alone a million others. But it all boils down to, are we supposed to be spiritual beings or physical beings? Well,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be physically spiritual beings.
Yeah.
God created things.
There was a guy named Jesus.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I do wonder as sometimes we sit towards the front and I look at the end of the communion line and I don't know, 8 to 10 cups are gone out of the grape juice pan. And we went through 3-4 layers of wine, I'm like, do we really need this one? I understand at the beginning when we were introducing it, getting people on board, but I guess what, folks, unless you have I don't know, celiacs or something that prohibits you from it, then I don't see why we can't be on board. We are taking this much, a thimble full of wine that, I mean, who was it when we first did it that did a in-depth dive on it? It might have been Ginger or somebody that to see if, say you're taking medication or something, would this amount affect it? And it's it's so small that it.
Well, I mean, some medication
impact.
you take actually has alcohol in it.
Right. Well, that's another interesting deep dive is throughout history, all the shenanigans that doctors have tried to shell off on people.
Oh, yeah.
It's a miracle fix, and it's alcohol, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah, sure, certainly
Right.
does. Or certainly does.
We knew that.
Yeah. You know what makes me feel better? And it only makes me feel better because it's actually not going to change anything. But
I'm getting uncomfortable in this closet.
well, there's Kentucky and West. You're going to love this transition.
Yes.
It'll make you feel uncomfortable too with transitions. But Kentucky and West Virginia actually are filing a lawsuit currently, trying to actually make it legal for them to issue machine guns, specifically M16s, M249s, and MP5s. 3 of kind of my favorite types of machine guns. They didn't say PKMs, but maybe that'd be cool. Big old Russian belt feds. But they want to make it legal for the state to be able to sell those to civilians. That makes me giddy.
Enough to move?
I mean, that was kind of when I saw that, I was like, Karen, if this happens, we're moving. And I say that tongue in cheek because I'm kind of dedicated to stay into this, POS state that we live in. with cheerfulness. But yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. This has just come down the last couple days, but so Kentucky in particular has kind of got a more robust fight, more well thought out in the long term. But they're setting up, if they get this to pass, an Office of Public Defense, where they'll be able to lawfully transfer machine guns, like I said, specifically M16s, MP5s, and M249. So the M16 is like an AR-15, but it's the real freedom version that Stoner envisioned for us to have. The MP5 is a German, like a 1960s design submachine gun. They're really cool, but they're kind of an artifact.
They're in a lot of movies, right?
Yeah, a lot of movies. Think what's the Christmas movie?
The Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah. I don't believe it's a Christmas movie. Sorry, Taylor.
Mean, you said it.
But yeah, the SB-89 or the MP5K is in that movie. The M249, which is a belt fed, I actually want all of those. But for Kentucky, they say, and any other weapon that is in common use in the military, which is constitutional language right there. They actually have it set up so that all records will be destroyed after 5 years. You'll get basically a seal stating that you get to own that weapon, that you get to keep for your own records, but then state records will be destroyed after 5 years. Those records are also confidential and exempt from the public record or public searching. So that's ideal for people who would want to dock somebody because everybody wants a machine gun, and bad guys in particular would really like to know exactly where to go to get that. Which is kind of dumb. Yeah.
Government loves to we couldn't find anything else to charge this guy with, but he had Grandpa's gun.
Yeah, totally.
In his safe or something.
Exactly.
Illegal firearm.
Never killed anybody with it. Maybe never even fired it.
Probably didn't even know how to fire it.
Yeah, exactly. So the only downside, which I'm kind of fine with, is they would have like a $250 fee for each transfer, and then like a $50 paperwork fee. So you might spend an extra $300 to do that. If they're selling them at their cost, I actually don't really have a problem for that. So an AR-15, M16, the government, from what I was able to ascertain, is acquiring those between $600 and $1,200, depending on the features on them. MP5s might be around $3,000. M249s are between $3,000 and $5,000. Those are actually really good rate. Like, to get a semi-automatic M249, you can buy them. They're semi-automatic, which defeats the purpose of having a belt fed. But you can get them for around $7,000 to $10,000. So to be able to buy one for $3,000 to $5,000 and pay an extra $300 in fees, 100% down with that. If that's funding the government, that's actually kind of a job of the government, is to fund the public defense.
Afghanistan got
how
many did they get?
$4 billion worth of equipment,
right.
I'm in this ATF store, alcohol, tobacco, firearms store, the Kentucky and if we start getting surplus night vision, through there, it would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that these are, and that was another thing that Kentucky said is, the state has an obligation to equip the civilian to defend against tyranny. You could not have more constitutionally correct language than that. And so I am all for this happening. Now, if it does, I'd be shocked. But
yeah, I think we're going to keep what does Carolla say? Adam Carolla says safe spaces and octagons is his phrase, and I think this is an example of it, where we're gonna we're going to keep getting more polar opposites where like people cannot stand the people that need their safe space, and they're in the octagon, like throwing down, like getting the blood spattered out of them and spattering it out of others. I think we're going to have states like this that are going to come and step up and like, this is all dumb. We need to have constitutionally protected, like we need to equip our citizens. And then you're going to have Washington State that is going to be like, take all the guns. Yeah, exactly. And so I think there's going to continue to be that disparity, like a growing divide between states, and it is probably going to continue to fuel migration or immigration between states, and movement that way for people to just have their way of life, like not even just on a on a Second Amendment level, but also on an economic level, in terms of like, to buy a home here in Washington or in Snohomish County is just outrageous. Like most of our children won't be viable when they enter the marketplace. We were only able to buy a home at a young age because we moved to North Carolina. And we could buy a 3-bedroom house on 3/4 of an acre for $100,000. That just does not exist anywhere in the state, even if you go to the east side.
27 years ago, 26 years ago, whenever it was, when we bought our first house, we bought the cheapest house in Snohomish County. It was like $120,000 on an 80 by 120 lot. Yeah.
And so like, there's going to be more serious conversations of, hey, if I can get 5 families to move with me, I might move.
Hey guys, we can go to Kentucky. We can go, let's get 15 people from our church. We'll go to Kentucky. We got the Bourbon Trail.
Is Montana a lateral move?
I would say it's not an upgrade. I love Montana.
Yeah.
I love to go visit Montana, and I'll be completely honest with what I've seen there. I just see a bunch of weak men.
Yeah,
I see like spiritually weak men
that's the country mostly, right?
That is, but where you should not see weak men and you go and see weak men, that's kind of embarrassing. So you've got men that are strong in business, strong in their work ethic, and they cut their balls off when it comes to leading their family spiritually and just emotionally, and so that is what I've seen consistently in our forays into that beautiful, wonderful state. Is that, and there's pockets. I know there's got to be pockets of
for sure,
in any good stuff. But
even in Washington, there are pockets.
There is. But what I see in Washington is people that are aware that their morals, their lifestyle is actually under attack.
Yeah.
And Montana feels, in general,
there's wide open spaces. There's like this sense of security
because it's a long way away from us. And I think that is what somebody says as the peeping Tom rapist is, sitting in their bushes, looking through the window. That's kind of where Montana's at. And I still go back to, I really think that we have a God that is a good God that gives good things to his people. And I think that coastal cities will see, I'll throw a timeline that I don't really have any background for, but I would say with the way our country is going, that God gives cities of commerce back to his people, his faithful ones, in the next 100 years. I'll just throw a number out there. Like, that's not a prophetic thing. That's just like God gives to people that are faithful.
Well, and I mean, if you look back 100 years, the other way.
Yeah.
In 1926, I mean, the world was a lot different.
Yeah.
So like a lot can happen in 100 years.
Yeah.
And like for sure, God can like do a great thing among a people. But I think it is like there has to be some sort of revival. Like there has to be some sort of repentance, return to God, like forsaking the ways that that hate your neighbor, like in terms of like allowing criminals to go back on the street. That is actually not loving your neighbor, because they might be criminalized against.
It's not even loving the criminal.
Yeah,
it's allowing them to just fester in their own cesspool, and it's giving them no punishment for, like, punishment's a good thing. It's,
God uses punishment. He used
it's
discipline.
a blessing.
Yeah. I just heard recently about a guy in California that's getting released for serving, maybe he served 26 years in prison or something. He had a life sentence, multiple. And at the time of his sentencing, 26 years ago, the judge had said, this is every parent's worst nightmare, is a child molester. And he's being released at an undisclosed time and location because of his safety, and like, those are not the guys that we're looking for. I don't care if he's reformed, like that.
Yeah. The guy that was caught with 400 pounds of weed in his right. I think that guy's a moron. I think he's a disgusting human being
or even financial crimes. Make the guy pay a stupid amount of money.
Yeah,
totally. And go make the economy more money. Stimulate the economy with making a business that's gonna do stuff.
Yeah,
like
hackers, those kinds of guys. Like, give them freedom. Somebody that's been diddling kids, like, give them the wood chipper. Yeah.
Anyway, if you really want to know what we think, then just keep listening, because Defiance and Obedience Podcast is on a heater, and
it is.
We're gonna keep bringing it. The rebrand really was just to give a fresh facelift to what we're doing, and it's already caught some extra eyeballs, because We're not doing it because we hope to be on the stage someday with Tucker Carlson or Donald Trump. But we do actually like, not just our own words, but we do like to bring on guests that bless other people. Yeah. And the more our reach attains, then that gives us access to other people, even in the community that just don't know about us. Or
I think that we've gone from, our core 5 or 6 to probably dozens at this point. So.
Right, yeah. Just in the last month, we've increased our YouTube subscribers.
We love our haters.
Exactly. Yeah, no, the YouTube guy that was just like, wow. Like, he took time to, like, note how long it had been uploaded to YouTube. And he's like, wow, the first 16 hours, no comments. Must have a real banger of a podcast.
I was thankful for his comment.
Exactly. And I was like, I just replied, hey, thanks for contributing to our success.
Yeah.
And somebody else said, hey, could you come leave comments on my page? Because that'll help boost my, and they're like,
that's right.
Why would that help? Like, okay, this guy's just
don't understand the things. Yeah.
No, it's going over or under his head.
It's over. I guarantee it's over.
But anyway, hopefully you're enjoying the new format, and we hope to get some other guests on soon. We got some things in the works, and
we're going to have to change our merch up.
I know. Yeah.
Good thing we sold out of everything that we have already. Just flying off the shelves.
Well, and we also found, I'm sure you found this too, but everyone that we have, like, not for the sweatshirts, but for the shirts, everyone that we've sold or given a shirt to, maybe your son still fits, but they all, once you put them through the wash, they are smaller than. I gave mine to my son because I'm like, this was a large and now it's a medium.
Maybe I'm losing weight now.
Okay,
I'm getting slim, and it's just fitting me along the way. Ian, but
no, I just like you try to get something right, and it's just like, nope. That I thought clothing comes pre-shrunk these days, but I guess not.
Apparently not.
But yeah, China. we gotta shift the branding a little bit. Josh is working his grok images for Defiance and Obedience merch ideas and labels. We got to get some new stickers because we got a new name. But like Josh said, it's a new name but the same great taste.
That's
so
right. Less filling. Or maybe more filling. I don't know.
We got Dr. Pepper basically in the cup today.
And I
enjoyed it.
Yeah. That I need to throw a couple. I am slowly stocking my little front porch fridge for when I drink beer again. Mm-hmm. I only drink beer on the podcast now. So there's things like that I want to just have on hand for when I get to go back into a full time.
Exactly. Well, Norm's is the place to go. I mean, at least for variety. They don't claim to be the cheapest, but guys, they're your local hookup.
That's right.
And hopefully we are actually pushing the boulder uphill as we seek to weld Defiance and Obedience into one inseparable whole. By that we mean seeking to do both the hard things that push against things, and also the hard things that we know we're called to submit to, because no man is outside of God's purview and under his authority. So even if you think you are, you're not.
Yeah.
And so decide where you need to weld that, and go and do it. And we'll see you next time.
I quietly nod in agreement.
Praise the Lord. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Defiance and Obedience Podcast. Come back next time for another dose of constructive contrarianism, curious musings, and fatherhood direction. Don't worry, honey. I was just in the closet with a guy.
I was just in the closet drinking romantic beer.
Savoring a voluptuous brew with someone who's more than a friend.
That was hilarious how that all went down.
As I kept reading, I was like, "Oh my!
Wow,
is this a Valentine's Day beer?"
Yeah, no kidding. This can's got curves to it.